of the resources to support this increasing, and the big effort and needs to make sustainable our agriculture to reducing the impact of all the agronomic procedure. So in other way, working to guarantee the sustainability of our production. So these 4 points are a key point that inducing in Valagros to consider R&D to have a pivotal role with the aim to try to produce more using less resources. It's a big challenger, but it's something that is useful for Valagros Group, because during this last decade, Valagro continuously changed their approach to the agriculture, changed themselves to make them more coherent with the development of the agriculture. This has been the big, I would like to say, challenger, but also what determined the successful of Valagro Group, their capability to follow the agriculture demanding and change their approach. And in the previous speech, Dr. Warrior put in evidence the importance of biostimulant family. We trust in Valagro that biostimulant really could represent the solution that can increase the efficiency of the modern agriculture. And this assumption is supported to the fact that is easily today is possible watching on the scientific publication that there are more and more scientific publications that put in correlation biostimulant and their direct action and influence in the most important physiological process of the crop. And this has been continuously increasing in the last year. And to confirm this aspect, if today we are investigating in biostimulant, is because it's the only way that we have to comprehend the mechanism that stay behind the functionality of our product to improve the plant metabolism and plant efficiency. In this slide, only few examples also of our effort to make this activity that converge in the scientific publication to support the functionality and the successful of this family of product. But for sure, it's also feasible watching and make a simple analysis searching in the scientific paper using the word biostimulant at the research level, not at private level. What we can observe from this slide that till 2007, 2008, there wasn't not so much scientific article that was mentioned biostimulant as a potential solution to improve agricultural efficiency. But what we observe in starting from 2011, there has been a dramatic increase of scientific publication that including the word biostimulant. So this means that the scientists starting to recognize in these last 6 or 7 years that biostimulant can really represent a true and concrete solution to improve the efficiency of our agriculture. And it's also interesting to observe that this activity at scientific level is done in several countries. You can see here which are the main countries that contribute to all the publications that mention biostimulant word. You see Italy, United States, India, many other countries that really starting to take in account the importance of this family of product. For sure, it's very important to clarify and be capable to identify what exactly means biostimulant word. For sure, we are not speaking of traditional fertilizer, which aim is to nourish the plant in terms of apport of nitrogen, phosphorus, zincs, or trace element if you want to satisfy the different deficiency. But in the other side, for sure, biostimulants are not PGR and classical PGR, but biostimulant is something that stay for us with a specific rule in the middle, because as a special fertilizer act not simple nourish the plant, but be capable to influence the main physiological process in the plant that can improve the plant efficiency for increasing at the end yield or quality parameter. But in the other side, are not for sure synthetic hormones, because all the PGR activity that can be reconducted to the biostimulant are obtained improving their metabolism, supporting the key metabolite that can permit to the plant from itself to improving the pathway of natural PGR inside to the plant. But there are some other important aspects that give a clear identity of biostimulant. For sure, one of the important aspects is that very often, almost in the case of Valagro, biostimulants are often derived from natural substances. And biostimulants have zero or low toxicity compound, because derived from natural resources that offer to us the key active ingredient that permitted the functionality of our product. And another important point, and we are proud for this, that several of the raw material that we are using to obtain our actives derived from secondary use of other industry as juice extract or other, that permitted to us to obtain a key active ingredient from something that can be considered sort of waste, but where we are capable to obtain useful actives that characterize the composition of our product. When we are speaking of a biostimulant, we can observe, as I showed you before, that the knowledge of the benefit of plant biostimulant is continuously increased. But in the meantime, less is known sometimes regarding their mode of action. But mode of action is the key word that really can permit it to you to understand how the product is working and how you can choose the right actives in relation to the claim that you have in front of you and that you want to satisfy. So for these reasons, in front of this natural but complex matrix, the key question is what makes them so special? And this is the key rule of R&D. Follow the innovation, try to find something new that could represent the true innovation also in this field of interest, and be capable to explain why our products are working in a certain way through the mode of action that they could have. Obviously, for doing that, we needed a research technology platform to satisfy and to be capable to answer to all these questions, take in account all these aspects. So in other words, the daily aim of the team that I'm leading is to be, for sure, capable to answer to the question what make a prototype product or product working, but also understand why we choose a specific active ingredient in relation of the claim that we want to satisfy. And later I will explain in which way the technology can support ourselves to doing that. But the other point is also thinking to the future, to be capable to explain and predict the function of mode of action of the different substances that characterize the biostimulant formula, explore and discover daily new opportunity that we could have to improve the performance of our product, or be capable to cover some aspect that at the moment could be not covered by prompt solution. For a reality as Valagro's group that working worldwide, is not feasible to think that one suggestion can be right for more than 80 countries. So this means that our effort is also those to improve the application product, the timing, the dosage, and formulation design, taking account the different conditions that can influence the same tomato crop that is growing north of Italy, or here in India, or in California. The crop could be the same, but the weather condition, pedoclimatic condition could be completely different. And we must take in account to satisfy tomato needs in several contexts, not only develop the product in one place, think that our suggestions are right for all the rest of the people. And this is the reason why Prem Warrior before explained our Valagro Academy, the aim of our marketing team on the field to exactly focusing and create a fine-tuning of our product suggestion in the different geographical here. So in other way, we need to validate our solution globally. For doing that, our internal organization of global R&D, the team that I'm leading, is based on key research platform. In this slide, you can see that there is chemical lab platform, together strictly correlated with quality platform. In the other side, agronomic team that works strictly in contact also with the plant pathologist and plant physiologists that working on omics science, as I will explain you without enter too much in detail, with our joint lab that we created in this year with some key university that was managed this innovative technology, and also our microbial platform and our so important microbial hub that we have here in India. I'm really proud of that. So in other way, a team that could manage for each year an investment of 4% of our turnover, and these 54 persons on which 47% are foreign people, so are not Italian people, are researchers that work in the different places. Indian's team is an example, and this is very enriched the aspect from our R&D, these multi-ethnic origins of our team. For sure, our friend BASF is an example. Valagro try to have a structure as a pocket multinational company, but for sure we are not so huge and bigger as a multinational company. So this means that the effort that we can put in research is not comparable with Monsanto, Bayer, BASF. For these reasons, we daily need to search the efficiency of our activity. But for sure, I'm really convinced that you could have also a team of 100 research, but when you are speaking of research, 50, 100 don't mean nothing, because we can do research, the true research, or try to apply correctly the research only if we really join with who really are doing research, the university, the researcher, the professor, and I'm very happy today also to stay here because I have the opportunity to meet some of them. And to explain what I want to say, in 2014, after there has been other new edition, in the Nature has been published an article that was putting in evidence which are the key aspects that determine the successful from the relationship between academia and industry company. And we see that in this article we found that there are mainly 3 points. The first one is the common interest. So this means that what the company wants must be also of interest of your researcher partner. Because a true research partner, what want is improve their scientific publication. And he can do only if you propose exciting things. Because you can pay a lot of money to him, but if he's really a true researcher, at a certain time, if you offer something that is not exciting, you will lose them. The other point is trust. So, you know, when we are speaking of private company, we are a little bit jealous because we have several aspects that we take care, as the IP aspect, to maintain the secret. But in the meantime, without an enough level of trust, it's very difficult to really have a collaboration, true collaboration with the external researcher that can improve our activity. And the other important point that the article put in evidence is the good communication. So can't be some sporadic, but will be continuously relationship, daily relationship. And this has permitted to us to arrive to develop a joint lab with some key university for us. So in other way, we need to create an ecosystem that permitted to our restricted team to interact strongly with the university world. In this slide, you see that how we see our global R&D as a node, internal node capable to interact with the joint lab that I explained to you before, the university, a research institute, strategic partner that can improve some aspect of our activity, independent test facility for sure, but also we have a scientific committee where we have a key professor that are leader in a specific research field that help us to monitoring continuously the evolution of the science in this different field of interest. So in other way, represent for us a sort of strategic windows where we can watching and understanding in which direction the science is moving to hope to be capable to stay behind them and working with them. For doing that, we have an internal process that permitted to develop the new solution, and that including a different step from the discovery, from the realization, prototyping, the biological screening, the primary screening, and the open field testing, because we never forget that our solution must satisfy, as the previous speaker say, the grower satisfaction, not the R&D ambitious, but offering solutions that really permitted to the grower to improve their ROI. This is the key point. So, and for sure, I will need more time to go deeper in each one of these points, but I would like to highlight those that for me clarify much better what the colleague before put in evidence, the importance to adopt continuously new technology that can improve our R&D approach. And for doing that, I will focusing your attention on this point, and the biological screening. So biological screening is something that including for us omics science, that improving our capability to do true output technology of investigation, something that can predict how our activists can influence the plant of physiologists before to move into the field. So this is very big advantage because permitted to us to do a very strong screening in a short time, very accurate, and understanding all the aspects that at the hand permitted to us to know the mode of action of our product. To make you an example of this technology, for example, the genomic approach. We starting this challenge in 2007 as a first in our field of interest, the agriculture. We have starting to use the genomic approach to predict, to understand in which way some specific activists and consequently prototype was capable to influence the expression of plant genome. Because you know that if you are capable to induce the expression, some genes, consequently, these genes will codify a specific protein, and this protein will determine the plant phenotyping. So this means that to have in our hand tools that from the beginning of the step can predict how an activist can influence the plant means understanding the potentiality of each one of these ingredients, and also, when we have our prototype in our hand, really understand their mode of action on the target crops. For doing that, we can use, in relation of the different needs that we could have in front of us, different genomic approach. From microarray that permitted to us to observe how is moving the entire genome of plant in front of a new activist that we apply on the target plant, respect the control. And in this way, we can discover something new, for example, that can or can't be useful for us in relation to what we are searching. But in other cases, we could be in another step where we already know where we are. We are creating something, for example, as we mentioned before, that must satisfy an abiotic stress reaction from the plant. In this case, we can use a genomic approach using the real-time qPCR, where already we investigate a key gene family, not all the genome of the plant, because we already define which is clearly the target of our prototype. The other strong evolution happening in the last year has been to adopt this model not only on plant model in laboratory, but also on crop. And the next generation sequencing technology has permitted to us to doing that, extending this approach on crops, not only on Arabidopsis or other laboratory plant model. And this is the genomic, and when I speak of omics, for sure including phenomics, metabolomics, and many other. And the other important technology as phenomics have permitted to us to improving a lot our knowledge in terms of research investigation, because using phenomics approach, adopting different wavelength, using imaging system, we can monitoring the treated plant, observing in which way our prototype influence several physiological parameters. And changing the wavelength, we can measure the photosynthetic activity or the relative water content, many other aspects, the morphology of the plant, and the added value without touching the plant. Because you know that all the time that you are touching the plant, you can inducing an alteration that can modify the performance or how you read the performance of the prototype. Sorry, from here I'm not capable, but if we move in this picture, it's possible to start in a small video that can explain how this machine is working. But anyway, so okay, if you can come back on the slide presentation. Okay, it was only to make you confident how this imaging system can reading the plant without touching. If you click on the arrow, probably the video is starting, and collecting this so useful information. So we are in laboratory. I know very well that agriculture is completely different reality, but these technology are useful for us for speed up and comprehend much better many aspects that stay behind our product. For sure, the other important step is moving versus the field with the primary screening, where we can detect the several parameter performance of our prototype, moving in growth chamber, in Percival, control the condition, to arriving to identify the best application method, timing, and rate, and very important for me to understand if the prototype that we have in our hand really work respecting our expectative. The next step is, if we have successful on the primary screening step, moving on the field, searching through field evidence. And for this reason, we have our team of agronomists that work in different places to check, using all the same protocols, the performance of the prototype. Because after minimum 2 years, collecting all this data, we understand, and if I can switch on the green light to put our son from our hand as a prototype in the hand of the marketing, ready to become and change from prototype to product. So all these aspects that I mentioned to you, and sorry about the timing, I would like to go quickly, characterize what we are calling GEA Power. GEA Power is the technology that stays behind our solution, behind our product. As you can see in this slide, it is based on 4 main pillars. The first one is due to the fact that our deeper knowledge of activities that characterize our prototype. I like to say that we consider the nature as a sort of mine. A sort of mine where if we know what we needed, we can enter using the appropriate extraction technology to take up these activities that could be useful for our prototype. And this extraction is exactly the second important pillar, because it's not only to extract in an efficient way, but also to preserving this biological compound, maintaining the efficacy inside our prototype. The third one, I have explained to you before, is represented by the advanced screening and investigation technology as omics, and not only omics, to really comprehend, know, and be capable to explain the mode of action. And the last one is the practical aspect to know and be sure to offer good solution to the market, to the grower, that can really improve the efficiency of the agriculture, responding to the previous aspect that I mentioned at the beginning. So this is the GEA Power, and this is the approach that we are putting in this sense. Thank you very much for your attention.